Hello, everyone. We are glad to have you with us today for this webinar on the New York State Contract Reporter. I'm your moderator, Jenny Alton from the New York Small Business Development Center Central Office. This webinar is part of our Contracting and Certification series, and there will be two more webinars on September 8th and September 29th, and we hope to see you at those as well. The NYS is a U.S. Small Business Administration resource partner with regional centers at higher education institutions and outreach offices at other locations across New York State. Our free advising, education, research, and advocacy services are made possible by funding from the SBA New York State and our host campuses. I am very pleased to introduce to you your presenter for today, Gina Hayduk, who is the NYSBDC Government Contracting Coordinator and an advisor at the Mohawk Valley Center. Now, as we get going today, please know that you're muted and will not be on camera. If you have any questions during the presentation, please don't hesitate to drop those in the chat or Q&A box as they come up. You can open those from the bottom of your Zoom window, and we will address questions at the end of the presentation. With that, I will turn the time over to Gina.
Thank you, Jenny. And I am going to turn my camera off just so it's easier for everyone to concentrate on the screen. So welcome everyone to the first installment of our procurement series, as Jenny had said. I'm happy to present to you some helpful hints to navigate the New York State Contract Reporter. I will refer to it most simply as the Contract Reporter because it's a mouthful. In this webinar, I will show you how to log in or set up a login into the Contract Reporter. I will show you how to navigate and how to conduct searches. This is also the database you will need to have a login for the MWBE certification submission. So it's good to have. There we go. First, what is the New York State Contract Reporter for those of you who don't know? To get there, this is the link. And it is what it will look like when you open it up. So I'm giving you the screen so you know that you're not in the wrong place. The Contract Reporter is New York's official publication of procurement opportunities for state agencies, public authorities, and public benefit corporations. The best part is the database is free and they publish opportunities daily. As an added bonus, it is that is one of the series of our bid matching system pulls opportunities. So we will discuss in our second installment the bid matching, but just so you know, if you are one of our clients that has the bid matching already, it does pull from the New York State Contract Reporter. This is the threshold information as to when companies will need to post their contract on the Contract Reporter. And I realize it's busy, but the important thing to note is this link. That will get you to the site. The bottom line of the whole spreadsheet here is that if the contract is $50,000 or more, it will need to be published in the Contract Reporter. So let's get started on setting up an account. Once you open the website, you will click here to get started. Counterintuitive, or very intuitive, right? As an aside, if you already have a login, you will click on login. And once you set up a login, you will go to this route also. So everything's right there. Now, you will have to choose which you are, a client looking for contracts or a New York State agency looking to post. And we'll follow the route of a client setting up a business entity account, as this will be the majority of you on the call. This is a list of the things you will need to enter so you are prepared. The terms of service. Read the terms of service and make sure you agree to move on. There are some things in there that just may give you pause, and it's just good for you to go through it. Create a login account, and you'll be asked to enter your email address. So decide if you will use your personal email address or your business email address. You will need a username and password, so make sure you remember both. And it'll also give you a verification of text characters, so you make sure you note the case upper and lower. You can always change your email address later, but it's just can be a burdensome thing. So you need to enter your account information. You will need to enter your name, business name, address, and demographic information, and be descriptive as it will be part of your profile. So this is what everyone's going to see. And then they'll send you an activation code so you know that you're up and running. The next few slides, we will navigate on how to manage your account. And this will be the next screen you see. And this is where you will enter more information for your searches and also the companies to find you. First, choose My Opportunity Profile, and we'll go through those. These are the categories to choose from. And as you can see, there are 4 different classifications, and it will give you what you might qualify for. And so here I've done just a couple choosings just to show you what it would look like. Next, below the categories, you will choose the counties you will provide your goods and services. I chose the counties that our center here in the Mohawk Valley cover to show you how it would look. And they are Herkimer, Lewis, Madison, Oneida counties. And they will be highlighted and listed so you can see both ways. And you choose your audience that suits your business. The last thing is my opportunity profile is to select the ad types you prefer to have sent to you. You can choose all, one, or a few, whichever suits your business. And of course, any of this you can go back and change. Next, you will decide if you want electronic notifications, which we just talked about, but there's 2 places, and I wanted you to see that. And this is a personal preference, and you can turn it on or off too to suit your business. In my account information, you'll be able to, excuse me, edit or update the information that you have entered, as I had said previously, when you set up your login, because not only can this information change, it may need to be refined. Excuse me. In my ad update notifications, you will see any notices that generate from your criteria, which is a good place to look. So here are some of the examples of ad types, and you can see that they correlate with the options that you had chosen from. And we'll dig into how to navigate these ads, but you can see that they're all different. The ad type general in the MWBE, so there's all different options. So when you're looking for contracts to bid on, you will click on My Opportunities, as we had said. Once you are given the ads that apply, or any ad you just want to look at, you will select View this ad. And it will give you the whole description and duties required. So this is where you're going to get the full information. Now, I chose this one because it has a whole bunch of stuff in it, so we're going to go through it. The tabs up top will be description, contact information, documents, and bid results. Updates, we're not going to go over because not many have updates. But if there are any for the ad, they will be there. So it opens on the description tab, and this will give you the full description of the job and what is needed to satisfy the contract. One hint I can give you is to read it, and read it again, because lots of times people miss what they're asking for. And if you don't give them exactly what they're looking for, you will be rejected. It'll just be put in a pile and never to be seen again. And I notice on here that my arrow is underneath, but you can see that bookmark this ad is where you can actually pin it onto your profile so that you can go back and look for it. So in there, there's the set asides. And so I picked this ad to show you what some of the contracts will have noted. And this is where you're going to see if you're an MWBE, if you're service disabled, if there's a set aside for your certification that you might have. And these clients that have MWB certified or service disabled, better known businesses, it's an important fact to know when applying for a contract. It doesn't mean you can't apply for the contract. So please know that if you do not have these certifications, it just says that they're looking to at least get that portion or a portion of the contract to those certifications, but sometimes they don't find them. They don't apply for them. So you should always apply if you qualify for through the description of what they're looking for. So the contact information. This has to be, I would say, the most important information for not only asking questions to help, but keep in mind, if you don't think you can handle the whole contract, you can contact them to see if you could be a subcontractor and know that they may look to you because you've asked that question. It gets them in the idea that you may have information or you may be able to do work that they can't find somebody to do amongst the whole contract. Being a subcontractor for another contractor can help the lead contractor meet any of the requirements we talked about also. So if you can't do the whole contract, but you are an MWBE, that could help them in the set asides. So every little bit helps. So the documents. Here you will find any documents that are needed to accompany the bid. Most times it's a fillable spreadsheet, as you can see here, or a PDF. To itemize the things needed, and it's an easy and readable form for the contract manager. So when they are able to look at the contracts and all the bids, everybody's filling out the same thing. They can just put them in line and see who qualifies and who doesn't. Being concise will get you noticed more than too much information that doesn't pertain. So the bid results. Now, this is when an old contract, for an example, has or I'm sorry, this is an old contract for an example, so the sample we've been looking at is not rewarded yet. So this is another way to be a subcontractor. So um, this one has been awarded, and it shows you who got the award. So that way, if you want, you can do something and assist them. You can contact them directly once you know who received the bid. So next, we're gonna explore the search and filter functions of the contract reporter, which I find many people get hung up in. So this is a couple opportunities of how you can find things. This is what they look like, and they can be found down the left side of the screen once you've logged in. And for filtering, these have been chosen in the My Opportunity profile. So you can filter differently too, but it defaults, excuse me, to the options you had already put in. And you can make any changes you might want and to hone on something better. If you're trying to find a specific bid and you can't seem to find it, there's always ways to go about it. And as for searching, two self-explanatory options are my bookmarked ads, which is the ones we talked about before that you had bookmarked, you want to go back and look at, or open opportunities. So you have many options. Both advanced search and search the archives will give you this screen, and they can be searched by any or all of these options. And as you can see, many of the filters have drop downs with more options, which are the arrows. So you can become very specific or you can be very broad. It all depends on how you want your information and what you're looking for. So recently closed ads are for the subcontractor in you. Okay, so we've looked at a whole bunch. This is where you're going to find them. This is where you can see who was awarded the contract, and you can contact the firm like we talked about to see if you can help. You can sort by contract title, agency or company, issue date, due date, or category. So if you were bidding on it and you had it in um your my bookmarked ads and you had decided you can't bid on it, but you remembered what was in there, it will help you find what you were looking for. And you can also use it as a learning opportunity, and you can always contact the company and say, how did you bid? How come, what didn't I do? What can I do to help? Most of the time, the contractors will give you information and just say, this is what I did, because they've already gotten the bid. They have nothing to lose. So searching the registry is very important. Now, searching the registry is different than searching the business registry. This is not looking for opportunities. What you're looking for is companies to do work with or for. The other thing that search the registry is very important is to search for yourself. Once you put your information in there, go back, search for yourself, and see if the information looks like what you wanted it to say. Because sometimes when you're putting everything in the prompts, you may not have put something in there that you thought would be important. And then you can go back to your account and put it in. Also, if you don't find yourself, you may have made a mistake and not have hit the last button to say to post. So that reminds you that or notices you that you're not in there yet. So here are some of the benefits from the business registry. Like I was just saying, not only does it create a searchable account for the business, agency users can search by the New York State Contract Reporter category, the NAICS code, the keywords, and they can filter by MBE, WBE, DBE. State agencies or prime contractors can find the firm and contact it directly with contracting opportunities. So it's like free advertisement. A company can advertise its subcontracting opportunities by submitting ads, which is a contractor ad. Ads can be sent through the e-alert bid notification system, and the company can search the directory for subcontractors. So you can also search for other company profiles of similar businesses to compare. So that it's a wealth of knowledge in a one drop down. So the procurement resources tab will provide you with links to a wealth of information through these links below. All of these bullet points are linkable, so if you click on them, they will go to it. It gives you all the different agencies that put out any kind of bid into the New York State Contract Reporter. The last tab to navigate is the Notice and Reports tab. Here you will find any events, bulletins, or procurement reports. And it just gives you the ESD and the New York State do a lot of events. They will be posted here. So that gives you an idea of what's going on. And if something's close to you and you want to go to a forum or something, it's in there. So just to show you, like I keep saying, there's many ways to find some of the items that we have covered. This is the New York State contract system. This is where you will start screen of the MWBE certification. And you can view all programs and notices, and you can view opportunities since all the links feed from the contract reporter, except for the design and construction that feed from the OGS, which is the New York State Office of General Services. But here's where you can find opportunities, and you can search the directory of the MWBEs. Okay, this is me. Anybody have any questions?
All right. So, Gina, I'll go ahead and invite you back on screen then.
Oh, yep.
And let's let's get some questions answered. So if you have questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat or the Q&A box. And this is your time with a contracting expert. So feel free to drop those questions. We'll give everybody a minute. And I do want to remind people, so here at the NYSBDC, we offer no cost, but very high quality business advising services because we are a government funded program. And so we are your tax dollars at work. If you need assistance, we are happy to assist you. There is a link in the chat where you can sign up. You can visit our website and then click the book appointment button to sign up for services at your local center. And Gina works out of the SBDC at Mohawk Valley Community College. However, she assists clients statewide. So if you sign up with your local SBDC, Gina can assist you with any contracting procurement questions that you may have and getting through that process of signing up for those certifications, getting approved, all of that. So Gina is available as a statewide resource. Okay, so Gina, I'm not seeing any questions at the moment.
Okay.
So if I could just ask you a few then.
Yes.
When people go into the New York State Contract Reporter, uh, what do you think, in your experience, as you've seen people doing this and signing up, getting their businesses in there, what are the most common mistakes that you see people make?
Not promoting themselves. People tend to, it is the opportunity to show what your business does. Now, you don't want to put a lot of what I call flower words, right? But you want to give your abilities in all the things that you can do for a a company or another contractor. So you want it's a like I said, free publicity. It's free advertisement, so utilize it.
Thank you. Question then, the next one. What are the key things contracting officers look for in a proposal beyond pricing?
They look for references, and it's different than like a um resume type references. Most of the time, they're going to look and see if you've done any work through the contract reporter or through the contracting system. So if by chance you've done work but not through there, if they ask you where you have worked before, always give them jobs that you've done in and have done successfully, and you know that they're going to check. They're going to check just like anybody else does for references.
Okay. Now, you talked about how working as a subcontractor for a prime is a great way for a lot of businesses to get started in contracting. Do you have any particular tips when approaching a prime contractor on, like you've been talking about, promoting yourself and
Yep.
doing that in the best way possible to that prime contractor?
Yes. Honesty. Sometimes you just have to be vulnerable and say, I have yet to do a state contract, so I would love to be able to work under your supervision to get me something to put on my business resume. So if you work as a subcontractor, you will be noticed as doing work with the state. So if you can talk with the contractor and say, I can do this for you. And the one thing that I didn't quite mention, but I will mention now, the state, federal, anybody, if you apply for a contract, they're going to want to know how many people are going to be working for you. They don't want to know, and I'm not saying lie, they want to know that the people that you have can do the job. So they don't want you to say, and they're going to find out if you don't say it, but you do it. I'm going to end up hiring 6 people to do this job. They want you to have the people to do the job. because they don't want to have to deal with any kind of backlog or inability. You have to have the people that actually belong on the job as employees before you bid.
Okay, that makes sense. And so we do have someone on the call today who is starting out, and you've kind of talked about this some, but I'd love to have you expand on it. So the opportunities for more newly opened businesses, because I know you've been talking about, okay, what jobs have you done before
Right.
and all of that. So if you are, brand new to this world of contracting and working with these different entities, what are your suggestions for those brand new businesses?
Subcontracting,
Okay.
definitely. Take a piece of a big contract that you know you can do and you're very, very qualified and determined, and see if you can get that, because that gets you, it's almost like a credit score, right? It gets you up on the needle of what you can do. And then you can build on that. So the next one, maybe do more. And then you can bid on a full one. But it gets you, it's always baby steps. Everything in the world, this world is baby steps, right? And sometimes it's one step forward, two steps back. So everybody understands that. But try to get in in somebody's vision. Try to see them, get them to see you. And always make sure, if I would say, bid on something that you know you could have done with your eyes closed, but it gives you that reputation.
Right. Okay. And so the the person said, thanks again, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
So we'll give people just a few more minutes here to enter questions. But Gina, so what types of businesses are there certain industries that are often in the New York State Contract Reporter more than others?
Yes and no. I mean, it's easy to say, yes, construction is going to be huge. Always is, right? HVAC is always big, but there's always something in there. There's every, like all the SUNY schools, they need, you know, different things. All the New York State buildings need equipment, they need furniture, they need people, so there's always something. But I know, and it's just because that's the way of the world, right? Everything is always under construction. Just drive down any street. So that's the big thing is, the construction is going to be in there. But a construction department always needs some other things too. So that's where, if you have a smaller type business, they may need somebody to handle their books or whatever, so there's always something.
Thank you. So question,
Mhm.
what about private WAV transportation? I don't know what WAV transportation is, but maybe you do, Gina.
WAV, I
Let's see
don't.
if the person can
Yeah, you can tell.
explain to us exactly what that is. In the meantime, so I'm sorry. Okay, they just got it in here. Wheelchair accessible vehicles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's always something for that. It's the few, and the problem is that everybody who gets in there say, "Oh, I don't see anything. I don't see anything." I get that. You aren't going to every day. You may see something every month or so, but they're there because you have um like, we have the House of Good Shepherds, or we have the outreach housing. They always need somebody to transport people, right? They don't always, their contracts, so they may have a contract, but the contract is a yearly, right? So you have to wait till their yearly comes up and they have to put the bid out for the next year. So they're there, but they're not always going to be there every day.
Right. And so that would be especially why it would be important to set up those notifications correctly.
Yes, exactly.
So when they do
Exactly.
pop up, you know about it.
You know about them, right? Exactly.
All right. So, should a new business looking for an opportunity have a healthy net profit and cash flow prior to trying to bid? Like, in your experience, what types of businesses tend to be successful as they start out on this contracting journey?
So you just have to be able to fund the project as you put in for. Okay. So and healthy net profit and cash flow, yes and no. I mean, like if you're gonna be the main contractor and it's a $200,000 contract, yeah, because you're dealing with the state. So you're not always gonna have the payment for the work. So you do have to be able to show that you can fund it for reimbursement. Some are like that. So it all depends on how it's written and how the pay structure is. And you can always ask what the pay structure is, so you know.
Can I have you talk a little bit more about that payment system? Because I know that there are particular requirements with the state a lot of the time. So, for people who are new and not aware of those, can you elaborate a little bit on how the state tends to pay for things?
I can partially because I don't always see it, right? But I have had many clients say, it's hard when I bid on a contract because I know that they give you 25% up front and then 50% when you're half done, and then the last they wait until they assess it all. Every contract will have a payment structure, so you just have to see. And sometimes if it's not a payment structure that you can stand behind and be able to successfully do the contract with their payments, then don't apply because they're not going to care if you can't. They're just going to say, okay, next. Does that
Thank
make
you.
sense?
Yeah, it does. We have someone on the call today who does work with resume review, behavioral interview preparation, employment strategy sessions, and workshops for organizations and schools. And so it's kind of encapsulated under career development services. What
Hmm.
industry would you recommend this person should look under in the contract reporter?
um it would be support, I would think. That's a tough one only because every time it's going to be different. Like they're going to ask for it differently. But I don't know if you're a client. If you aren't, sign up and I can look for it and I can email you and we can talk. Um Also we have the bid match, which is our next one that will help you with more than just the state, which maybe you have a better opportunity. So sign up, ask for an appointment with me, and we will nail it down for you.
Fantastic, Gina. And so, as Gina mentioned, we have our webinar next time on September 8th. It's also a Monday at 11 o'clock. And so that one is on Bid Match. And for those who maybe don't know exactly what Bid Match is, Gina, can you just give a nutshell description so they know what to expect in the next webinar?
Yes. It's our system that will give you um viable bids for your criteria, and it searches many and search engines, in the New York State Contractor Reporter is one of them.
And yes, that service is offered at no cost to NYSBDC clients. So it's a great thing if you are looking at getting into contracting to
Mhm.
help you locate opportunities that you can apply for. And then, so our last webinar, Gina, will be on certifications. And
Yes.
what will you be covering in that webinar?
I will cover the MWBE certification, which is very intense, a lot of paperwork, so I can go through and help people understand it. And also people to know that I'm usually, if you're with me, if you're one of my clients, we will go through it together. Usually it's hand in hand. So that's you get my help on that. I will touch on the WSB, which is the federal. And I'm also gonna explain just quickly the service disabled and the 8A.
Okay, and so just to help get everybody clear in their minds, so MWBE is a state certification, and then those other ones that you mentioned are federal,
Federal.
correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yes, so multiple certifications at multiple levels available. And Gina will help you identify which ones your business might be eligible for.
Yep.
And then as she showed you that there are certain contracting opportunities for businesses with those certifications. She showed that to you earlier in the
Mhm.
webinar. So you can find out what you might qualify for and how you might go about applying.
Yep.
Okay, well, I think we have caught all the questions. And so with these webinars, we will just do the information, answer all the questions, and then call it a day. So we will go ahead and call it a day for today. And we hope to see you all back for the bid match presentation on September 8th. And then on September 29th, the certifications. You'll see a survey if you have a moment to fill that out. We always appreciate hearing from our attendees and knowing what else we can assist you with here at the
Exactly.
NYS BDC in our educational offerings. So thank you so much, Gina. Thank you
Thank
to
you.
everyone who attended, and we hope to see you back in 3 weeks.
Have a
Bye,
great day.
everyone.